If you've had the saying to stay away from carbohydrates, and yet you are someone who loves to eat rice, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to make white rice that won't spike blood sugar. It will taste good and can be served with stew, sauce, or veggie and any protein of your choice. That way you won't have trouble or have the need to avoid eating rice entirely. You can literally eat white rice every day with no issue if you make it this way. Quote me anytime. I am in my late 30s and I now eat rice every day after I struggled with insulin resistance for over 3 years after clocking 35. I used to think that I had to give up rice altogether to stay healthy, reduce insulin resistance, and treat the constant acne breakout that messed up my face, but not anymore. I found a method that works. As someone that loves rice, it gives me the same satisfaction as eating white rice with any topping of my choice, but with a major nutritional upgrade. So here's what I do currently when making my white rice. First things first, I fill the pot with water halfway and set it on the stove. The water proportion depends on the quantity of rice I am making. Then I let the water come to a full boil before adding the rice. Why? You may ask, well, the flash boil method does something magical. It starts the starch release early and makes it easier to remove the stuff that would normally spike blood sugar. As the water is heating up, I measure out my raw rice. Today I'm using about 800 grams, which is perfect to match my other ingredient for making this quantity of rice. As soon as the water hits that rolling boil, I pour in the rice and let it boil for just 2 to 3 minutes, or half cooked and no more. That short boil is enough to loosen the surface starches. Once those few minutes are up, I take the pot off the heat and set it aside. Now, the key ingredients we need to make this rice super dense to lower glucose and blood sugar spike and also high nutrients are fish and oil. Now, the type of fish or oil you choose is dependent on your preference. For me, I love coconuts. For 2 reasons, which I'll talk about soon. And for the fish, the goal is to go for a fish that is close to white or has less pigmentation and coloration to it, so my white rice will come out white. You need about 1 or 2 kg or 1600 grams of fish, 800 grams of rice. I've been using this particular fish for almost a year now. I discovered it here in Portugal, and while I can't quite translate the name in English, it's something close to stockfish, just a lot milder and almost white in color. See, I like my rice to look and feel like real white rice, but I also want it to nourish my body, not mess with my glucose or insulin levels. Which is why I go for this specific fish, mild in taste, packed with nutrients, and no overpowering fishy smell. Next, clean the fish thoroughly. This fish has lots of scales, and while the rice is resting, I get the fish cooking in a new pot with some water. Here's where I add blended garlic and ginger, not fresh, because I usually blend and freeze mine ahead of time. It saves time and still does the job. The garlic and ginger aren't just for flavor. They help neutralize that fishy taste so the final rice feels clean. But beyond that, garlic is a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, so it supports the very goal I'm after: healthy, balanced blood sugar and zero insulin drama. If you're sensitive to fish taste, this step is a game changer. But if you're someone who doesn't mind a hint of fish flavor, you can skip it or reduce the amount. Now, while the fish is boiling, I go back to my rice. It's had time to cool, and now I rinse it thoroughly. Not just once. I keep washing until the water runs almost clear. That's when I know I've gotten rid of a big chunk of the surface starch that could cause a sugar spike. What I'm left with is soft, partially cooked rice that's perfect for the next step. I take the fish off the stove and start cleaning it, deboning it carefully. Quick tip, always go for boneless or low-bone fish. If you get a fish with a lot of bones, you'll regret it. It takes forever. This one takes me about 20 minutes to clean, and that's manageable. I shred it into soft, small chunks. That way, when I mix it with the rice, it blends well and doesn't overpower the texture. I transfer the clean, rinsed rice into a fresh pot and mix in the flaked fish. Then I strain the broth from the fish pot and pour it gently into the rice for flavor. At this point, I add a little more garlic if I feel like it, just a pinch of salt, and my secret touch, 2 full tablespoons of coconut oil. The coconut oil helps cut through any remaining fishy aroma, adds a beautiful gloss, and gives the rice a soft coconut undertone that I personally love. Now I mix everything thoroughly. I make sure everything is evenly spread: the rice, the fish, the broth, the oil. If the liquid looks low, I add just a tiny bit more water. But here's the trick: don't add too much. You want your rice to come out fluffy, not sticky or mushy. We're aiming for that classic white rice feel: soft, separate grains, and a gentle aroma. I cover the pot and let the rice cook on low heat until all the water dries out. Once it's done, perfection. It's not pure white like polished rice, but it's creamy, soft, and honestly more satisfying than regular rice because of what I know it does for my body. I serve this with stews, vegetables, or even just a splash of palm oil on some days. But honestly, even on its own, it's so comforting I could eat it just like that. And the best part? No spikes. No bloated, sluggish feeling. No blood sugar crash after an hour. Just nourishment that actually feels like a treat. Let me know if you try it. And if you want more ideas like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. I've got a lot more coming your way.